John, here we are, several hours into this. How are you doing just now?
Well, you sound buoyant about it, but I'm not sure I am. It just feels it's been on and on, getting nowhere. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure if they're even listening to me at times. It's terrible, this matter. Just, yeah.
if this gets sorted today, and that's a matter for you, and of course for them, what will you do tomorrow?
Well, you're right, if, because at the moment I can't even see that happening.
Speculation, let's just speculate.
If it's behind me tomorrow, it's a really hard call to make to actually understand that. Sitting here right now, not only is it difficult to understand that, it's almost like it'd be easy to say, right, I can just get on with the rest of my life and start. But I think there's almost this, whatever been happening, whatever result is, I've got to put it behind me, but I'm not even sure how to put it behind me and just start off new again or do something differently. It's just absorb me and my family and take it over everything, I suppose, over so much a long period. I don't think they understand just that impact. It sounds quite, monetary or whatever to them at the end of the day, and it's just taking over everything. So I'd have to start tomorrow, I don't know, go for a long walk or something like that to make a start. But I would have to find a place within all that to, I think to start to build once, my confidence has been hugely shaken by this, my own self-worth. So, but that's really hard to think about that, because that seems such a long way off at the moment, John.
If you went for a walk, with whom might you go for a walk?
Well, initially I thought I'd just go for myself. Don't know if I've not much of time to connect up with people in the midst of all this, the last whatever long a period it's been. I've just focused so much on this, that contact with friends, people I would know, people I might have gone on a walk with or whatever.
So you spoke earlier on, only briefly, about your family.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your wife.
Yeah.
I don't want to pry inappropriately, but how would she feel if tomorrow morning this had come to an end?
I think she wanted to come to an end a long time ago. I'm sure make a world of a difference if I'm not going back and constantly talking about it, or even not talking about it, I suppose. So I think it would make a big difference. Maybe not in the short term, but within a few days, week, or whatever, that maybe normal life, whatever normal life is, can be resumed.
Yeah. Let me ask you a different question. If it hasn't sorted out today, and you are continuing with this tomorrow and into the next weeks and months, what will your wife say and feeling?
What I want to go towards and look towards. I suppose the relationship is rocky at the moment. She's endured a lot, I suppose, and not just me in this conflict. The rest of life feels on hold a bit at the moment, and for her that's not good enough. She talked about holiday and things like that, but it's not done it because I don't know where money's coming from and things like that, because I haven't got another job yet to get into and things like that. So I don't know. It's not something I'm wanting to look at. So I find the question difficult and challenging.
Maybe just leave it sitting there just now, and I'll leave you just to think about that. If tomorrow you wake up and it's behind you, you mentioned jobs.
Yeah.
What do I completely hear what you say about lots of confidence. John, and how this has been all consuming. However, you are a senior professional with a lot of experience. So what job opportunities would open up for you if this was closed up?
So I think it's about my inner confidence rather than what the world out there will see.
Right.
So in other words,
Right.
are there job opportunities? Are there people I could start to speak to? Is there a headhunter I could? Yeah, I think that's all there. I need to deal with my own lack of confidence because it's been bashed around. I feel being burnt in this one, so I don't want to be burnt again. Even as I'm talking, it feels a place I've never even thought about yet. That there could be another job
Let's
and get out there.
Let's just think about that. And let's remember exactly what you said about other people's perception of you. Maybe there's some inner work to be done, but you and I both know that there are people who will help with that if necessary, and also how much easier that can become if you have removed the impediment. So let's assume the impediment is removed.
Yeah.
What opens up for you in this interesting time in the public and private sectors? You've straddled both in your recent career.
And I think I can offer quite a bit back into that at the moment. I think that maybe be. I think if we can get out of this deal in some way or another, that there's some grasp of credibility about myself as well and reputation. That's somewhere I can take forward into that. Then it'll take a bit of time, but. Yeah, I'm just looking out there and thinking it would be good to get out there and start.
Isn't it?
To get out there and enjoy it.
Yeah. There's a lot of light at the end of that tunnel, isn't there?
Yeah.
If you don't sort things out today and this thing drags on, and you
Yeah.
spoke yesterday about this maybe being another year till it comes to court and so forth and so on, what's going to happen to the prospective jobs?
Yeah, it'll dry up, and I think my confidence will just get worse and worse. I'm found this difficult to look at what you're asking me to look at, but I suppose when it's beginning to. I suppose I'm beginning to have to accept that some deal is better than nothing coming out of this at the end of the day. I don't want to throw everything away and just give in to them, but something. If I can get some of the things I'm looking for, and I'm going back to thinking, what would it be like, I suppose, if I picked up a phone at 5 o'clock tonight and said to my wife, okay, it's done. I don't think she'll bother, frankly, about what the terms are. Yeah. I think she'll say, right, let's go.
Value comes in many forms.
Yeah.
And the danger, I hear you saying, I'm not going to give in to them. Let's not think about them at all at this stage, John. Let's just let her be, whatever. What do you need to give to yourself and your family and your future career in order to be able to move on? That's a rhetorical question. There's one other thing I want to wrestle with here, because we spoke before about some sort of press acknowledgement, publicity. And that got me wrestling with how could I maybe store that with you. And the place I got for was, let's assume it goes to court. What would the press headline be after the first day of court? Knowing how the press enjoys this kind of stramash involving senior people earning lots of money.
I know what you're saying.
What am I saying?
The press have a way of presenting things in a particular way, which may not be conducive to my reputation at the same time.
Give me the kind of headline that they might use.
Something about, the executive individual trying to get more out of this in the end of the day, even less than honest or something like that with regard to stuff about the license or whatever.
And it doesn't matter how true that is, does it? Or not?
No, I hear what you say, John. I mean, there's still a bit in me that says we shouldn't be in this place.
Understand that, completely understand that. I'm only at the moment.
Struggling to let go of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I hear what you do say.
Yeah. So the only reason I raise that is that I then tried to work my way back to any sort of public acknowledgements or statements about this, and I just pondered, thinking about it from your perspective, on how that could be spun. And I'm just going to leave that seed planted as well, as you consider the most effective way to.
What would be really important for me at the end of the day is if you talked a bit about other jobs, headhunters, getting something, whether I use it or not, that could be offered to a headhunter, to a prospective, who raises the issue, they've seen something, they heard something about the previous stuff, and something that the government committed to, the minister committed to, or which I say I could use in confidence if necessary. That might be something to do with it.
Well, I have a sense from my conversations in the other room, I can't be more explicit than this, that as they also wrestle with public statements, the way these things are spun, there may be some real potential for providing something which could help you in future job situations. So I can explore that further if you'd like me to do so.
I've not found an easy conversation, this one, but I hear what you say, and it makes beginning to make sense. I'm tired of all this, and I'm tired of today.
Yeah.
A couple of hours or walked, whatever. Something more realistic along the lines we're talking about could be considered. Some recognition of that. That question about what am I weighing up? What really matters?
It is really what really matters, isn't it? That's a very interesting way of looking at it.
And I've maybe lost perspective.
Yeah. Well, this process offers you the opportunity to stand back a bit if you wish. And what I invite you to stand back a bit and look at yourself. Don't worry about them. Don't let them either drag you down or drag you anyway. Just think about it. I mean, if you were sitting in that seat, let's try this, John. If you were sitting in that seat there, right? Who's the person that you would look up to, or did look up to, has looked up to in the past as a kind of mentor figure, who you would go to for guidance, or whose guidance you'd have in your mind as you make decisions? Who would that be? Let's assume that you're still John here. John's not in that seat just now. So I'm asking you, John. Sorry, I'm
lost.
You're lost. I'm lost.
I'm tired. Emotional.
Yeah. And I apologise for introducing something without thinking through fully how to do it. So let me just take it back and explain. This could be a useful exercise to persevere. So I'm talking to you, John, just now. Let's forget about the emotional view over there. Just tell me of somebody that's been important in your life, to whom you've looked as a mentor and guide, a friend that you'd go to in times of need.
Okay, Peter.
Peter, all right. So I want you now to assume for the moment that you're Peter, and your good friend, Hugh, is sitting over there. John Grimm is sitting over there. That's it.
Right.
Okay. So, Peter, what advice would you give John?
Peter.
Good.
I'm thinking, looking at, it's difficult, me over there, he'd be saying, I think it's time to get up and get on. You're stuck. You're stuck there and you need to get up. It's not who you are. You're holding on to your anger or your confidence or whatever else is, and you need to get up and get on with life and live it.
Let's just leave it at that. I'm going to invite you now to reassume your role as John Grimm, with thanks to Peter. And I would like to get up and get on and go for a little walk and just reflect on our conversation. With your permission, I will go to the other room. I'm not going to say anything about the detail of this, but what I do want to do now is to work with them on what they can realistically do in terms of giving you something which you can make good and constructive use of in future job applications. I appreciate there are still money issues and we need to address these, and we'll do that in due course. I hope that's been helpful. There's a huge danger for a mediator at a meeting like this that I come across as confused myself, patronising, condescending, all of these things. If I've been any of these, I'm sorry, I'm trying my best.
Yeah,
I'll leave it with you.
You brought me to a point where I needed to look starkly at things that I'm avoiding looking at.
I don't need to hear pennies drop, only you. Okay?
I'll go for the walk.